Dee, I believe we have our guest today was previously at the All Together Now on our superintendent panel, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's a great segue, Ian, and thank you so much. Speaking of amazing districts, right? And we have a lot of them across the state. Broward County Schools in Fort Lauderdale is the pinnacle to me of gold star support for our LGBTQ students, staff, and families. Broward is known to be one of the 5 best districts in the nation, and certainly Gold Star District, the best district in the state, which is so fantastic. They're known to leave no stone unturned when it's about protecting our students, and I am thrilled to share with you that we have a guest of honor from Broward County Public Schools with us today to perfectly round out this Safe and Healthy Schools segment, and it is none other than who I was able to work underneath in a leader as he was leading the district, and this is Superintendent Runcie in Broward County. Superintendent Runcie is coming on now, and Mr. Runcie, we're so excited to have you with us. Thank you for taking time out of your Sunday. Thank you for caring about us, and I'm going to give you the floor, sir.
Well, I can think of nothing better to do this Sunday than to spend some time with you. And first, let me honor you. When I came to Broward in 2011, it was just a year after that one of the, I think, the greatest milestones I think in my career I've been associated with. That was when we were able to issue the Broward County Public Schools LGBTQ Critical Support Guide, which is online, which basically outlines all the rights and privileges of our LGBTQ students, staff, and families. We put this out there in 2012, and I can remember one of the ceremonies we had at Northern Trust. It was just really a great unfolding, and it's really now served as a model for other districts. So we're super proud of that, and it was developed in a collaborative way with our staff, community members, parents, attorneys, and absolutely students. We update it frequently, as you know, by members of the Safe to Be Me Coalition and our superintendent's LGBTQ roundtable. So just wanted to give you a shout out for the great work you did in Broward to help lay that foundation so that we have become the kind of district we are today in terms of supporting our youth.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Right. So Superintendent Runcie, would you like to speak to some of those points that that would come up around our LGBTQ youth and why you believe this type of work across the state is important?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just first say that, in this moment that we're in with and dealing with this global pandemic, one thing we know is that this virus doesn't discriminate based on your race, your sexual orientation, your gender, your status, whether you're rich or you're poor. I really think it just underscores that we're all in this together as part of this human race, and we need to recognize that one person's action affects someone, so we're all inextricably linked, and we need to create an environment that's fair and equitable, that supports everyone in our community. And so what we do in Broward County is a number of things to make sure that our LGBTQ youth who are part of our Broward family, that there are lots of activities and supports that we put in place. So it's not just lip service, it's part of our culture. You mentioned climate before. Climate starts with leadership at the top. And I can tell you that I, as a superintendent, and our school board collectively are very supportive of our LGBTQ students, and equity is a cornerstone agenda for this district. So during the school year, our resources for our LGBTQ youth are distributed through our LGBTQ coordinator, Keisha Gilliard, and by the way, she's been doing an amazing job supporting our students throughout the district and our GSAs. We have GSAs in all of our middle schools and high schools, and we host biannual GSA summits in the district. During those GSA summits, our students learn strategies to advocate for inclusion. They are provided with resources, with social, emotional, and physical health resources by not only the district, but also some of our community partners. Staff can also participate in LGBTQ professional development. You'd mentioned that earlier, the development that needs to occur. Even though our campuses are closed, our education still continues. So we will provide that resource and make it available virtually, so that that kind of professional development goes on. And I can tell you, when we switched over to this virtual environment, yes, we wanted to make sure that our kids and our families were being fed. We served over 500,000 meals so far at our feeding sites around the county. We've made sure that every student is connected who needs computer and internet access. We've distributed about 90,000 computer laptops to our students, provided low discounted internet services and free service to those students who need it. We also, during the first weeks of at-home learning, provided a list of mental health and social health services for LGBTQ students, and they were distributed to our GSA advisors and students throughout the district. Our GSAs have been encouraged to continue meeting virtually and connecting. We know those relationships are extremely significant, especially in this period of time, as you noted, that our schools are closed. We have to step it up and do extra in terms of our efforts to make sure that there are opportunities for them to connect, online. And so online resources for socializing have been provided to our GSAs, also through our community organizations and some national organizations. All of our LGBT youth also have access to free mental health services from licensed clinicians at one of our extremely important community partners, and that's SunServe, through their youth department. They've been enormously helpful in helping us. And then finally, we're really excited about the partnership with the Stonewall National Museum and Archives, and we're able to now provide all of our students with free access to their libraries and resources. So our work continues day after day in Broward County to make sure that at every opportunity that we are connecting services to our students. We have adults within our schools who support our LGBTQ youth to make sure that there's always a resource, there's always someone they can go to. We've created specific IDs for adults where, these badges you have on, so they know that they can go and talk to certain folks. I make sure that I wear it around the district to set an example, so that any youth that has any concerns or needs someone to talk to, they can talk to me, they can talk to staff at our schools. But we want to be and have been a very inclusive community. That doesn't mean we're complacent. There's always more work that we can do, and we need to continue pushing the envelope until every single student feels that they're included, they're loved, they're supported, and that the schools are the safest and most loving and embracing place for them to be.
Superintendent Runcie,
Oh,
it's amazing the work that's going on in your vision around equity for all students, not just LGBTQ students, and the idea that you talked about resources and visibility, which is so critical. Wearing that badge, having your LGBTQ point persons in your district, that is what we strive for in districts across the state as well. As I shared, you're definitely a gold mark that we all go by, and we're working on this in all districts across the state. It's so important, especially in this time where our young people feel isolated, and our trans youth and our LGBT youth are sometimes at home in where there's tension and there's conflict, etc. I wanted to ask you, sir, as we think about our work across the state and your work that's going, I know that you speak to a lot of principals and you know a lot of leaders. I wonder what might be a message that you might have for other superintendents or upper level leadership that are making decisions across the state pertaining to the equity and well-being of young people, not only during COVID, but after COVID. I'm curious as to, what advice or what thoughts you may have in that arena.
Yeah, so first of all, this work is the right thing to do. We have a moral responsibility to make sure that we're serving all of our students. But let's say you're just interested in academic performance, your school grades, your district grades. Well, you need to be focused on this topic. As you mentioned earlier, 1 in 5 students identify as LGBTQ. So that's a significant portion of our student population. And if we're going to have districts that are going to serve the needs of the students, if we're going to move academic achievement, we have got to make sure that we're addressing the psychological and social, emotional, and mental health needs of our students first. Relationships matter, your culture matters, your environment matters, and that is the foundation for student success. Once you take care of that, the sky's the limit in terms of what they can do academically. So on every level and metric that you could look at, it makes sense to do these kind of investments. It makes sense to create the infrastructure and supports for our students. It's just, it just makes good common sense, I believe. And that's my message to superintendents. And that's what I express to them all the time. And I always thrilled when we get contacted by other districts who want to know what we're doing. I get on the phone and I talk to the superintendents. And I encourage them, hey, look, we'll give you access to every resource we have. Why don't you come down and take a visit and see how things are going in Broward County? I think you'll be pleasantly surprised of what that can mean for your district were you to undertake some of the same things.
That's awesome. I mean, Superintendent Runcie, you began with saying it's the right thing to do. And it is. We have to lead with our hearts and lead with remembering that our young people can't feel safe and connected until they feel like they belong and they're affirmed. We so appreciate you being on our Equality Live today. Thank you so much for joining us on Sunday. You led with saying that there's no other place you would rather be, and we appreciate so much. Thank you for your leadership not only in Florida and the nation, for all of our students. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Superintendent Runcie.
And thank you, and I appreciate all that you guys do to support our kids and our communities. It makes all the difference in the world. God bless you all.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Same to you, sir.
Thank you so much.